If you need, I always prefer a couple drops of water in my water to water it down just a little bit.
Yeah.
Brings out the flavor.
I'm like,
really opens it up.
This is the same guy that filled his Glencairn up to here on our last episode.
Oh my god!
Finished it too in the hour.
It's not recommended.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're gonna have to.
A podcast about bourbon and the ones who drink it. This is Bourbon Matters.
Welcome to Bourbon Matters. I'm Jake.
I'm Dan.
And I am Gold Eagle Jake, and we've got a special guest here, Karthik. Welcome.
This is Karthik Sudhir here from Phenomenal Spirits. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Mm-hmm. Excited to have you.
Yeah. So, Phenomenal Spirits, you have two brands. One's a rum brand, one is a rye brand.
Right.
I'll start off with a bit of a loaded question.
Okay.
Getting right to it right off the gate.
In a landscape dominated by bourbon, why did you pick rye and rum?
Yeah, it's almost crazy, right? You know, as an entrepreneur, either you are riding the wave or you're actually waiting for the wave to come, right? You know, he's a surfer, and you understand that what I'm trying to tell you. And if you're riding the wave, 5 years back, 6 years back, it had to be bourbon. But if you're waiting for the wave to come and then get on that, the wave to go, it has to be a rye whiskey. Rye has been up and coming for a long time. It used to be the true original spirit of America, and post prohibition, it died down, obviously, and then bourbon really made a name for itself. And but Nielsen data, IWSR data is predicting the bourbon boom is here. The rye boom is here. The bourbon boom was there about 8 years back. So I saw the trend, and let's do it. And besides the fact that I really love rye whiskey.
A couple of us here really love rye. One
Not
of us
him.
not
One
as
of us
much,
not
but
Oh, really?
I don't drink a lot of rye.
Well, hopefully by the end of this podcast, we might be able to change it. We'll try it.
I mean,
try.
this is a great brand for somebody who says I don't really like rye, and we talk about
The
this.
finishing helps.
Yeah,
Having a finish on a rye helps.
100%.
but also his blends, which we'll get into,
Yeah.
I think appeal to a lot of non-rye drinkers. But yeah, so we're kind of waiting for this rye boom. We feel like it's definitely at a standstill right now, and I think a lot of that is because people maybe tried one or two ryes and they haven't liked the ryes that they tried, and they're afraid to dive fully into rye whiskey and start collecting, if you will, different rye whiskeys.
I think it's regional. When you go to the southern state, rye is hugely dominated, and I never have to try too hard to sell a rye whiskey. It's easily accepted. I wouldn't say easily accepted, it's widely accepted. But when you come to some other states, it's still a bourbon country, and and they're getting progressively more and more open to the idea of rye. I think maybe the state of Illinois is still a bourbon, and the rye movement is kicking off. But when I go to Georgia or Alabama or Mississippi, they're all into rye big time. Louisiana is big, huge.
Oh, yeah.
Massive.
Sazerac cocktail and lots of like rye-based cocktails down there.
Yeah. So before we dive too much into the brand, why do you think, from all your travels around the country, why is it that rye hasn't clicked in certain areas yet, and what needs to happen for rye to start catching on a little bit more?
I think there's a lot to do with the cocktail culture. The cocktail, wherever you see a lot of craft cocktail culture and elevated cocktail culture, you see a lot of rye movement going on because they're predominantly using 95.5 rye, at least 4 years, at least 100 proof, to make beautiful cocktails. And if you ask me if you want to do an old fashioned or Sazerac or Ry3, it has to be a rye. And don't get me wrong, I love bourbon, but bourbon's not the greatest for cocktails as such. That's what my belief is, because rye is multidimensional. So as the cocktail culture is moving, into different directions, different cities, tier 2 cities, tier 1 cities, that's where the movement of rye is happening. That's one way to look at it. Second way to look at it is also the last couple of years, the spirits trends have been down just because of the economy. Right?
Yeah.
But, we are also looking at the elections to be done, and, and Q2 of next year, the trends is going to pick up, and, there's going to be upswing again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've always preferred rye in an old fashioned.
Yeah.
I think rye, has this unique character in the spirits world where it's more in like the savory end
Right.
of things.
Right.
So it really lends itself to sweeter flavors to complement it,
Right.
rather than just pump up the
Right.
sweetness the way bourbon does in a lot of cocktails. So yeah, I think that's a good way of kind of analyzing the landscape.
100%.
And I for sure, I think rye is very important to like the craft cocktail movement. Like, I think most craft bars will have at least a handful of rye featured cocktails because of its versatility.
100%.
Even a lot of mainstream cocktails like old fashioned now, a lot of places are starting to use it with rye because, like you said, it's just multi-dimensional. It has some sweetness, but also has some spice that gives the cocktail a little bit of backbone too. So just to touch on the rum really quick, because the running joke with everyone I talk to in the rum industry is rum was supposed to take off 20 years ago, and every year it's supposed to take off, and we're still waiting for that to happen. So why rum, and what's your take on where the rum industry is going?
I've made peace about it. I've truly made peace about it, because as an entrepreneur, I cannot build a brand, based on trends.
Mm-hmm.
That means you're trying to catch a wave,
Yep.
and it's a bump and run kind of situation. We are here for the long haul. We are here for minimum 10 years it takes to build a brand. On the rum side, there's ups and downs all the time. Right now, the premiumization of rum is where the upward trajectory is. You're talking about that age statement, that ex-bourbon barrel, non-additive rums. That's where the movement of rum is, and it is primarily driven by the whiskey drinkers. Most of the barrel pickers, most of the bourbon drinkers, the high proof drinkers are progressively going towards Armagnac, tequila, rum, cognac, and that's been happening a lot. And I'm never waiting for the rum movement to come. I'm just in my path. We are putting out some amazing products, and we're going to continue to do so. Yeah.
Very
And
cool.
people will recognize it, and they will talk about it. We don't have a huge marketing budget. Everything is like you're like a real estate agent. It's all referral.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed with my own like venturing off of bourbon.
Yeah.
Like I tend, if I'm gonna go into another spirit segment, I want to hit the like well-made, good quality, brands in that category. I think a lot of bourbon drinkers are probably the same, because in America, bourbon has all these regulations that make it, even your low end products are at least, no additive, and
There's
stuff.
proper regulations. Just like Scotch industry has done a good job.
Yeah.
Whiskey industry has done a good job. I think there's some pressure on the tequila industry now.
Yeah.
Some pressure.
Mm-hmm, big time.
And rum has come a long way. And European Union, put the regulations, and that's been carried on by a lot of brands now.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of in general. There's just a lot of interest in brands that really put the extra effort into their product, and don't cut corners with additives or other things like that.
We're spoiled as bourbon drinkers to know that if we grab a bottle of bourbon, we don't have to worry about the age statement. We don't have to worry about additives, because I believe with rum you can have additives.
Yes and no. I mean, in Europe, if you're selling in Europe, it has to be less than 20 grams per sugar. So that's the first and foremost.
Mhm.
And you cannot add more. I think there's some certain percentage on the caramel too. Caramel is not
the
a flavor,
coloring, yeah.
yeah, for the coloring, not
Yeah,
the
yeah.
flavoring
Mhm.
agent. So then, if it is more than, if you add vanilla or or caramel and all those baking spices and all those cloves, it cannot be called as rum anymore in Europe. In US, they I don't know who's enforcing, but in Europe definitely you cannot. I think it's called as rum spirit now, if I'm not mistaken. This regulation's been kicked in, and they've been pretty strict about it in the last couple of years now.
And also the age statement, right? And then we'll move on. But the
Yeah.
age statement with rum, you can technically put 15 year on the label if it's a blend of 15 years the oldest and younger rum in there.
Well, I mean, a lot of different countries have different regulations, but the standard here is, either you have a straight age whiskey or a Solera style whiskey. I'm not whiskey. My apologies. I'm talking about rum. Sorry, my mind is going.
It's not
back
going
and
to be the
forth.
first time this episode.
Exactly.
bounces back and forth.
Exactly. So what we do is, it's a straight age whiskey in the Solera style.
Told you,
Yeah,
rum,
yeah,
straight age rum.
oh, straight.
But so yours is
Get me a drink.
yeah.
Get me a drink.
Well, we got 8 bottles here in front of us. So yes, your rums are true to their age statement.
That is correct.
That's the youngest in there.
That is correct.
Because there's a lot of stuff that isn't totally transparent with the rum industry,
Right.
especially here in the
Yeah.
U.S. But so you've got a rum, you've got a rye brand.
Yeah.
Let's back up a little bit. What did you do before this, and how did you know you wanted to do spirits?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I did not. But I've always been amused and excited about the industry. It's a hospitality industry. It's a lifestyle industry. You don't become a spirits entrepreneur just like that. I mean, unless you have a bulk load of money, and then it's a different story. Or your family comes from that industry, then it's a lot more easier. Here, the barrier for entry is very high. If you just want to do a craft brand, that's great. I was in the tech industry for the longest time. For 19 years, I was having a very good career, and I was in an upward trajectory on my corporate ladder. And at some point of time, I kind of had a burnout, and really had to think about what is that I want to do. Right? We got one run at it, and I'm young, I'm hungry, I'm ready to go. And I said, in my mid 30s, I decided that I'm going to get into the spirits industry. Yeah.
So were you a rum drinker and a rye drinker, or
Yeah, I mean, growing up in India, we have a lot of exposure to scotch and rum and whiskey and whatnot. But I really enjoy rum. But the first brand, the category I want to get in was mezcal, and
Okay.
mezcal was the category. So I went to Oaxaca. I've been to Oaxaca 5 times, and I was just ready to sign up the contract with the mezcalero, the distillers, and I'd flown into Oaxaca. This is my 4th time. The attorneys have drafted the papers. We're going to sign the contract. And that evening, there was a 8.4 Richter scale earthquake,
wow?
and a lot of people lost their lives, and it was a devastating event. Kind of shook me, it kind of shook me, saying maybe the universe is telling me something. Either the universe is telling me you really have to do it because you're alive, or you should not be doing it. So next day morning when I woke up, and I decided, this is not what I want to do. And I got back home, and I left all the deposits I had given to the Mascaleros, and I decided that let them know that I'm not going to do this, and maybe another time. I took a break, and then I contacted a master blender and a master distiller in rum industry, and he was gracious enough to take me under his wings, teach me about blending, and that's how my career started. In the spirits industry.
So at that time, was Phenomenal Spirits established yet, or were you trying to just get something?
Trying to get something going.
Mhm.
And the name has not been established. This is 2016, 2017.
Still in the tech industry.
Exactly, I'm still in the tech industry. But for the first 5 years when I ran the company, I was still in the tech industry. I did double duty. This is what
Burning
you
the
gotta do.
candle at both ends.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, if you don't have big backings and private investors and PE funds and rich families to support you. You have to do it by yourself. This is how you do it, and this is what I did for the first 5 years. Yeah.
So rum came first then.
Rum came first,
And how long did you work on the rum until you decided I need another brand or another spirit?
The thing about rum is everybody loves rum in America, but they drink whiskey.
Yeah.
And in Europe, it's different. Everybody love a rum and they drink rum. It's different. So I took the rum brand to Europe, and it started taking off. But being an American company, I always knew that I have to come up with a whiskey brand, and I started doing all the market research and looking at the IWSR data, Nielsen data, and all that stuff. And it said the next wave is the rye. Between 2021, 2022 to 2028, it's going to be the rye. It's a time for rye to shine. And I said, you know what? Maybe that's it. I really enjoy rye, and that's how I got into rye. No accident. It was absolutely no accidents per se. Yeah.
Do you want to talk more about the rum, or do you want to go into?
You can ask anything. I think I need.
All right.
I think I need a drink.
I'm just pour away,
I
pour
need a
away.
drink. I think I'm going to do a
We've
Madeira.
got 8 open bottles in front of us.
Start with the Madeira.
I'm trying that right now.
I think I need
I've noticed that I'm familiar with America, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
In America, it seems like there's two kinds of rum drinkers.
Yeah.
There's the casual rum drinker
Right.
and then the hardcore.
Serious.
That's all
Yeah.
all they drink.
Yeah, yeah.
Rum and cokes or
Well,
some high
Or
end.
you're on a beach somewhere at a resort, and
Yeah.
Right.
you're
Yeah.
gonna
That's
get a
great,
rum
too.
drink. You're not gonna drink a whiskey drink when you're out on a beach.
No. But you're also not going to buy an ultra premium rum for your Mai
No,
Tai.
no.
So-
No.
But I do think whiskey drinkers, which are most of our listeners, when they do go to buy that other spirit, whether it's Armagnac, cognac, rum, tequila, they don't mind paying a little more and getting a very nice product because their collection doesn't have a lot of rums. So they're willing to splurge a little bit more and spend the money on a nice bottle that they really like.
100%. And also, rum's a lot more reasonable than whiskey from a price point perspective.
yeah,
The
you
value
can
for
get
money.
like ultra aged rums for
Less than
Uh,
$100.
relatively
Yeah.
cheap.
What's Ron Izalco right here? I mean, the 10-year is $50. The 15-year, which is cash strength, I think we have it for $75, and the 18-year, 131 proof for $90.
Yeah.
I can't
beat
find an
this.
18-year 131 proof bourbon for $90.
Yeah. And it's a very small batch. We don't do much of it, and we only have access to so much. The juice is very special. If you have not tried it yet, you will be trying it today. It's pretty special.
Where do you source your rum from?
It's all Central America. So Ry3 Izalco rum is fully focused on Central America, and it's I believe it's underrepresented. And there's a lot of great rums. We are blenders by heart, by skill, by trade. Our positioning is blenders, and that's what we do on the whiskey side. On the rum side, we bring some of the finest whiskey, the rum from Central America. Nicaragua, Guatemala, Panama, Guyana, Costa Rica. So there's so many amazing distilleries out there. So we work with sometimes work with distilleries, sometimes we work with rum brokers, and we have access to some amazing juice.
Nice.
But we have long-term relationship to build the brand as such. Brands cannot be built just by doing one-offs drops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a hard proposition at that time.
Absolutely.
With the rum, since you have, we'll get into whiskey in a little bit,
Yeah.
but since you have a whiskey finished in a Madeira cask, any thought about doing a Madeira and rum and a bourbon cask finish to kind of complete the collection?
Very good question, actually. I mean, maybe that might be a good segue, actually. For the first time, we are going to be starting something called as Ry3 Izalco Cask Finish Series. Okay, it's going to be a 10-year cask strength product, and for Ry3 Izalco, and we're going to be doing small batch finishes as a single barrel picks. And these barrel picks we're not going to be selling full barrels. We're going to be limiting between 10 Ks to 20 Ks because we want to be able to spread the love across the country as such, right? The very first release which is going to happen is going to be Amburana cask.
Okay.
Okay, Ry3 Izalco Amburana cask, and so it's right up here. If you
Oh,
see
we
it behind
we
it.
will try it.
We'll
A
try
rum with
little-
Amburana?
Yeah, we'll try it a little later.
I feel like that's got to be the last thing of the night, right?
100%.
Rum and Amburana.
Yeah.
It's two beasts.
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. We had to tame that beast.
And
get
yeah,
it ready.
looking at the label looks gorgeous. That
Yeah.
just pops
Yeah.
out on the shelf.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, it's very cool.
I'm guessing that's a pretty quick finish, just like whiskey too, that the rum doesn't have to be in there that long.
You just said it. It cannot be that long. I mean, if it is, then that's it. It's diesel. You can't drink it. What is it? Like
Mhm.
it's too much. Too much nutmeg. Too much clove. With Amburana.
Yeah.
Too much maple.
It just overtakes the base spirit,
Yeah.
and then it's like, why are you even drinking?
Very quickly.
You know.
Very quickly. Then that's it. Then the juice is gone.
Yeah.
We've talked about it on our trend episode that Amburana is kind of on the down trend for sure.
It's
with
so hard
whiskey.
to do well.
Yeah, and it's so hard to do well. And there's total opposite ends of the spectrum when you compare a few different Amburana finished whiskeys together. They're very different one from the other. And yeah, you leave it in there for a day or two too long, and it's too long.
Yeah.
But I feel like I really want to go try that Amburana rum right now. I have to save my palate, but I feel like
Yeah.
rum and Amburana would really, really work. So I'm looking forward to that, and we'll.
Yeah, we're doing a very short finish on that. On that, we're not
Mhm.
doing more than 3.5 to 4 weeks max.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Max. It's right now. It's already sitting at 3 weeks now. It's prime time, which I believe my master blender and I think that it can sit there for another 3 more days.
Mhm.
So we're going to be pulling that out from the barrel. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm trying the 18-year right now.
Oh,
It's
it's
very good.
yeah. I mean, these are definitely my first impression on these rums. Where these are bourbon drinkers rums because
Yeah,
they're
this is like brown sugar and molasses
Mhm.
and
Yes.
caramel.
yeah,
A
and
little
they're
bit of like the vanilla comes in.
hmm
And
Yeah.
the viscosity, it sits in your mouth.
Yeah, it's so thick.
it's
It's really
131 proof too.
It doesn't drink
No,
that.
it does not.
It drinks like 100.
Yeah, with
Just
that sweetness
dangerous.
from the rum, it's a dangerous product for
This is a
sure.
question for you guys.
Yeah.
What's trending according to you, from a consumer perspective and a business owner perspective? What is trending? Let's ask Jake first, who is a business owner here at Gold Eagle.
If I had to answer that right now, I would probably say one-off things like bourbon is obviously I think still trending. It's down a little bit, but it's still trending. But I think people are looking for something that they haven't had, which is hard to do now. But they're just we're always going to be spirit curious, and we're always going to be looking for that next thing. So I just think a new type of finish, a new type of blend, something new. And as I mentioned earlier, I think the one-off like high-end rum or the one-off high-end Armagnac appeals a lot to the bourbon drinker who wants something a little bit different
And
in
are
their
the
repertoire.
consumers willing to pay the price for that unicorn they're looking for?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think high-end spirits, a lot of people are at the point where they have a couple hundred bottles at their house, and they're willing to buy more, but they got to make sure they like it first, and they don't care if they have to pay a premium because they're not buying as much quantity. They're just buying more quality.
Excellent. Great response. How about you?
In that vein, I think ultra age statement bourbons is next.
Mhm.
I think
For
we're,
sure.
we're even seeing it in rye now too.
Yeah.
You have he just threw me off.
No, I just hate age statements. I think it's the dumbest thing to judge a product on is age.
We
Well,
know it's
I'm-
dumb to judge on age.
But I
But
mean,
we
look at what's come out in the past 3 years. You have Maker's Mark cellar aged, which is 12-year minimum, I think.
older, aged
Or-
expressions.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that old, is it?
Is it
Uh,
12?
I thought it was like 8 or 9.
well,
It's
so-
just-
I
so-
thought it was old.
So Maker's Mark is a blend of, they say 4-ish, but it's probably 5-ish to 7 year. They will never put an age statement on it, and then they age it
okay.
for an extra 2-3 years in the cellar.
Well, I mean, you've
Is that
got
the staves? What they do? Is that what it is?
For the cellar finish, they don't put any staves. They
Okay.
just age it in a temperature controlled cellar
I
for
see.
an extra couple years.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
So
It's not
make
super old.
makers is always about a consistent product, which I love because I'm with you, Dan. Like I don't like age statements because too many people judge a product on the age statement
That's
before they
correct.
try it,
I mean,
and there's
you've
too
got
many.
Russell's 13, now 15.
But
not,
yeah,
not
people
pre 12, 15, 18.
Yeah.
people want it. When the bourbon boomed, we saw a ton of new brands, and a lot of brands get released too young, probably, especially MGP. There was a lot of young 4 to 6 year MGP out there, and people are oversaturated with that. So I think people are looking for something that is 10 years plus. But yeah, don't be one of those people who's like, oh, I don't want it if it's under 8 years or if it's not age statement. Like we talk about it all the time. It matters about taste, not the stats.
I wonder if it's like a shift in, or a little bit of a shift in learning how to get super aged and like good drinkable whiskey at some of the distilleries,
And also balancing profit with that, because at the end of the
Right.
day, if you're a distillery, you got to make money and you got to
Yeah.
have cash flow if you're going to be
It's a business
distilling
first.
more.
It's a business first. Yeah.
I mean, like, especially in rye, it's interesting because like you can get absolute banger 2-year ryes, but now you're seeing like Old Overholt 10-year and 12 or 11-year they just put out, and like I think we're going to see more and more of that too.
I think you're going to see a lot of that just with the glut of whiskey getting built up. We talked about not too long ago. Is you got all these places that have been distilling more and more over the years, and now you have more of that 5 to 7 year range that you can't sell, so you got to sit on it and sell it older.
There's a 10 million whiskey in a bourbon barrel sitting in Kentucky, just in Kentucky. Just imagine, craziness.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the one-off things. The special releases are still going to be big for a while.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons, and I fully concur with you, folks. That's why our cigar series has done so well. The triple cask finish with Madeira cask, rum cask, and Narana cask. Now many people focus on Madeira cask. I think it's underappreciated, or at least people need to know how to work with Madeira because it can be overpowering pretty quick. And our Madeira cask is very lightly finished. It's not heavy finish. Right. And Narana cask is a beautiful combination too. We know the Narana and Spanish orange wine. There's few brands out there, not many. There's few brands out there who have specialized in it. Rum cask is classic. You can never go wrong with rum cask.
Yeah, especially with rye.
Especially rye.
Like I've said this a bunch of times, but like rum and rye is like the perfect pairing.
Seriously,
so good.
It is. If somebody screwed up a rum cask finish, then they should. That should be the benchmark.
Yeah, right. Well, let's talk about the Madeira finish a little bit because we've all tried it, I think.
Sure. Let's go. I wanted to talk about also the base of all of these ryes. And then we'll go into each expression. So, because it is a unique blend that you use for the base.
Ours is not another MGP brand, and proofed it down and released it. We really formulated the product. This is a Maryland style rye, and we formulate it in such a way that if tomorrow we don't want to use MGP and we want to use something else, we should be easily able to switch because it's 95.5. All right, but it has 16-year light whiskey, and that light whiskey is a ex-Sazerac, not Sazerac, Seagram's light whiskey, and it is an American whiskey. It's not a Canadian whiskey. So there's a component of that. There's a 4-year 100% rye from Alberta, from Canada. There's a component of that. So it's a blend of 3 different whiskeys, 3 different mash bills, 3 different distillates, 3 different age statement, and that's why it's called Ry3. But most importantly, it's a Maryland style rye. About 20% of the component is about the light whiskey. The light whiskey, which brings the butter, the softness, it takes off a lot of harsh edges of the rye whiskey and really opens up. And I call this is the bourbon drinker's rye. This is the closest cousin to the bourbon. And if you are a bourbon drinker, If you're sitting on the fence saying, I'm not really into rye, and this is a good start. This is a good start. And if something you enjoy, then you probably like a Maryland style rye.
Mm-hmm. So my second pointed question, which you already kind of touched on, is why incorporate light whiskey at all?
Yeah, it's a blending component. Before light whiskey became famous, it was a blending component in Canada, and also they used in the US. But the light whiskey came into existence when a lot of people started releasing single barrels, and we were like one of the brands who really put that on fire in the marketplace. So we were quick early in the market. We went ahead and acquired a lot of great barrels of 14-year, 15-year, 16-year, some 17-year whiskeys, and we kind of cornered the market for a while, and we did a lot of single barrel release. And light whiskey came into existence at that time. All of a sudden, it was always there. It came above the surface, and people started becoming more curious, and they understand that it's a blending component. Now few other brands are starting to use it as a blending component.
I mean, we did an episode about light whiskey, like I don't even know,
Year and a
in
half
season
ago.
1. How it kind of rose out of like the late 70s and the early 80s as a way to compete with like vodkas and Blanco tequilas and clear liquor, basically.
Right.
But as that shift started happening, where it was like, oh, whiskey's for like grandpas, you know, like
the bar culture has always been a trend. There's been trends like there was a trend for martinis. In the 70s, 80s, there was a big trend for martinis.
Yes,
and that's when the white liquid really took over. Gin and vodka.
So,
Go ahead.
why did you decide to do blends rather than, or specifically multiple mash bill blends?
Yeah. First of all, I did not have $20 million in my bank account. straight up, I did not have that money. So I knew that I won't be putting a distillery anytime soon. And I was always curious about blending, because you see in the spirits world, winemakers are blenders. Scotch, they're blenders. Armagnac, they're blenders. Cognac, they're blenders. These are all blenders. And the significance of distiller is big in America, or at least used to be. Now there's a lot more acceptance for blenders. I come from an old world country, from India, where blending is common out there. Blended Scotch, blended whiskey is very common, widely accepted. So I was like, why not? Why not? We take great whiskeys and we make it phenomenal. These are really high premium whiskeys. 4-year, 100% rye from Alberta, and Seagram's light whiskey, for 95.5 MGP. These are all really good whiskeys. And,
Yeah.
And also what we talked about is just something unique, something different.
Yes.
Yes. It's not your typical rye. It's not your typical light whiskey. It's not your typical finished whiskey. It's something totally just unique and different. And I do really believe this is the bourbon drinker's rye, or the gateway rye into other rye whiskeys.
Yeah,
You can't steal my sales pitch.
Ah.
I use Gateway Rye all the time.
I'm pretty sure I said this was a gateway rye on our last episode.
I've been using that in my sales pitch for longer than that.
All right.
Maybe we should use that in our product sheet.
I do think it's nice because you do still get a lot of the rye flavor that, like, someone like me, like, I want the ryest rye possible, but like I still get that. But yeah, I can see where the light whiskey is kind of rounding it out a little bit and softening it.
But the
like
base
Dan
spirit
said,
is still there.
Yeah, and like Dan said, the finishes, help round it out a bit more. Like, I don't need the finishes to like it, but
Yes, but see,
someone like him does.
I don't like bourbon finishes.
Well,
I'm if I'm gonna drink rye, I do like a rye finish. If I'm gonna drink bourbon, I don't like bourbon finish.
If I were to drink bourbon, it's always a neat bourbon.
Yeah.
I don't like. The best finishes are made with rye whiskey or Scotch.
Yeah, I agree.
According to me, I'm not taking any shots in bourbon category at all. I love a bourbon, but not for cask finish. Nah.
Is that kind of similar reasoning because why rye is better in cocktails. There's just a
100%.
little more layers to it.
And also cocktail, you use vermouth, you red vermouth, amaro, you use bitter. All these things need to gel well with the complexity of a rye. Your spice, your pepper, your oak, your sweetness from the rye. That really goes well with the cocktail mixers. Yeah, that's why. And it also has to be, according to me at least, it has to be minimum 100 proof for
Yeah.
minimum.
Which all your spirits are, except for
Yes.
the 10-year rum.
Yes.
But everything else, even just the standard flagship rye, is 100 proof rum finish.
Yeah, which I do like that's. Some would have put it at like 94 or 90,
Right,
but
right.
100 there is great,
Right.
and like that's a great cocktail base too.
Right.
Like you get that little bit of sweetness from the rum, and like I've had 4 or 5 of the expressions on the table so far, and nothing has been overpowered by the finishing barrel.
Yeah.
Which is, we've talked a lot about on the podcast how finishing can absolutely destroy base spirit, and like when it's done right and done proportionately to the base spirit and complements it, it's the best.
We have done 10 batches right now of whiskey, and we have learned quite a bit on blending and how our foundation blend works with different oaks and different type of European oak, American oak, Brazilian oak, Asian oaks. So we have learned quite a bit, and we're fortunate to go through our own journey of learning too. Nobody's an expert, from day one. You have to go through your own learning in your labs. You have to screw up a few times, and that's why it's called R&D.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I've tried 3 of the ryes so far. I've had the Madeira, which Madeira always has a special place in my heart. I loved my trip there.
Oh, you have been. Awesome.
Yeah, I went a few years ago.
Awesome.
Which I learned I don't like Madeira wine.
But you like the place, though.
Yeah, I mean, Madeira wine's a cooking wine.
Yes, that is correct.
It's not a sit down and drink wine.
Yeah.
I've had the Madeira wine, I've had the rum finish, and I've had the the red wine, or no,
There's a cask strength
You're
rum,
talking
and there's
about
a
Narana?
100 proof rum. The
Do you have the
Naran
cigar?
no, I didn't have the cigar. Which one did it?
toasted.
I think it was a
Narana?
Narana, I think.
Yeah.
The
you-
Naran,
This
the
is one
Naranja is
cask
Yeah, the Naranja,
ridiculous.
Yeah.
The Naranja is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's very good.
See, I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum, which again, I'm not a big rye guy. I thought the red wine was probably the most rye flavored one.
You're
Had the
talking
most
about
the
the Narana, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought that was probably the most typical rye.
It's
I
an
got a-
orange wine, not a red wine.
Whatever. I don't,
Yeah.
I don't drink wine.
Yeah.
You're confusing me, Dan.
That had a little bit of the rye spice, or more of the rye spice to it. It
Right.
wasn't as sweet, which is fine. It had a little bit of that dilly note to it.
Right.
But I'm not a big rye fan. You get your mints or your dills. I'm
Yes.
always mint. The rum finish is a great rum finish rye.
Yeah.
I will say the Madeira cask strength rye is probably the best rye I've ever had.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
I particularly like the Madeira because I was getting like a smoke on it or
Yeah.
something that was like super, super cool and unique.
The color on it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, you're pulling it must have been some pretty nice cask of Madeira, some pretty fresh.
Yes. We use only once or twice, and that's what we do. Madeira starts fruit forward.
Yeah, very fruity, very very viscous,
Yes.
very thick mouthfeel to it.
Beautiful oak in the middle.
Yes, very well rounded. For people that don't like rye, that is a phenomenal rye.
That's coming from a man who does not like rye.
I have 2 bottles of rye out of my 70.
And now you
70
have
or 80
3.
something.
There we go.
Yeah.
We are 3 now.
I'm hoping not to move too much whiskey.
He
US,
is
but I might have
moving.
to.
I like the Naranja, which I'm like very hit or miss on orange finishes.
Yeah.
This one tastes like you're biting into like the peel of an orange in a good way.
Yeah.
Like, you just get a burst of citrus in there.
It's
It's
like
not overpowering, but it's all you want there.
Yeah, it's like I'm not an orange peel.
Yeah.
old fashioned guy. I'm a lemon peel old fashioned guy.
Okay.
But yeah, like the orange there is just like exactly hits the spot, and like it's not overpowering. Again, it's
Beautiful
like it's present, and like really complements everything else that's going on.
This probably makes one of the best old fashions.
Yeah,
and don't use Angostura bitter. Use the orange Angostura bitter.
Oh, I was gonna say you don't even. I think you don't even need the orange bitter.
True
but
that too. True that too. Depends on how
just put a little.
you want.
Yeah, drop a maple syrup and ready to go out of the bottle.
Just so you know, the last shipment of Narana cask, the very last shipment of Narana cask, came to Gold Eagle. That's it. That was it. That was the last barrel and the last shipment. And that's the fact. And, it's a seasonal expression, which we did. It was hugely popular the entire year. And Spirit Animal Society did it. And, there were a lot of, they enjoyed it. And that was the last shipment. This is it.
Yeah. Thank you for getting us this batch, because it's really, really good.
Regular thing or no?
Absolutely not.
Just a one-time experiment?
This is, we may bring it, in a couple of years from now.
Okay.
Every year we do a seasonal expression. That seasonal expression starts in January, finishes in December.
Okay.
That's it. And
nice.
we did that for cognac, we did that for Madeira, we did that for Narana, but Madeira was such a success that everybody kept coming back asking for more and more and more.
Yeah.
And then you know what? Then we looked at the landscape. Let's do Madeira. I mean, you know how to work with Madeira barrels. Our spirits work really well with that. Let's do it.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about experimental finishes or mash bills or whatever. Like it's always good to see brands trying to find new and cool finishes or whatever, blends or whatever it is.
You'll be surprised what we're going to be releasing, for 2025 seasonal release. And it's going to be a really good one in February, maybe.
Oh, well, tell us. We're right here.
I'm actually just coming from the distillery as of now.
Oh, wow.
Straight away from the distillery. I was there in the distillery yesterday, day before yesterday. Anyway, long and short of it is we have locked it down, and a label will be designed pretty quickly, and we know the concept.
So just troll the TTB to find it.
Yeah, maybe.
Can you give us a hint? Is it a finish or is
it's definitely a finish? It's definitely a finish.
A singular finish or
singular finish?
Right.
It's going to be single finish. And also for the cigar series, which you're drinking right now, I think we should have a cigar.
It's Amberana. Yep. I know it.
The cigar series, which we're drinking right now, this is the last edition of this series, and this will be done. So the next series of cigar series will kick off in February of next year.
So it changes. The cigar series changes every year.
It's
the finishing barrels change
every 24 months.
24 months.
Every 24 months.
Okay.
So we do one batch, and about 9 months of finish. The 9 to 10 months of finish. 11th month we do the production, and 12th month we release it.
So I remember the last time you were here, you're saying that the base blend is different on the cigar series.
Hand-picked barrels, they're older barrels, and they're not the younger barrels. They're not the 3-year, 4-year. They're a lot more older, and we allow our master blender to go pick those barrels, and that's what we do. And these are our favorite barrels from the rick house we have.
Okay.
From the thousands of barrels we carry, this is what we do for our cigar series.
Nice.
And because these are individually, hand-picked, and we use a different tanks, dedicated for cigar series. We never blend it with anything else, so we don't never have to worry about mixing and previous flavor taking over and all that stuff.
It's a very good cigar pairing whiskey.
Yes.
And a lot of the time cigar batches, cigar blends or whatever are bourbons.
Yeah.
I like that there's a rye option.
Yeah. No, we were the first one to do the rye. I mean, the rye category, we were the first one to do we could have done it long back, but we did not because we have to build the brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go do a cigar series on the first year of the brand, you lose credibility.
Yeah.
What the hell? You haven't even earned any badges up here.
But I mean, you hit all the notes that you want in something for a cigar. Like you get the leather and the like tobacco leaf.
Yes.
But you still get like the fruity notes from the different finishes, which is
Absolutely.
nice.
I was gonna say what I love
Would
about
balance a heavy cigar really nicely.
Yeah,
you know?
I love the fruity notes that I'm getting on this, which I don't get on a lot of other cigar batches, and it's like almost like a palate refresher
Yeah.
when you're smoking a cigar to just get that little burst of bright fruit in there too.
Yeah, it's not like dark dried fruit. It's that like brighter because like the naranja's in there,
Mhm.
and
So the
the
Narana
Madeira
brings the you said it, tobacco and cigar notes that
Yeah.
and the orange zest. The Madeira brings the fruit note, like you mentioned, and the rum cask brings all those baking spices
yeah,
and the tropical notes. And then to finish it off, we finish it with the toasted French oak staves
oh
for
okay,
another 12 more
Yeah.
weeks. That's where the
That
nutmeg,
brightens it
the
up a little
clove,
bit,
the dryness comes from
That's it.
that.
That's where the tannic comes from.
Exactly, just said it.
yeah. It's very nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so our core portfolio is Ry3 rum cask 100 proof, Ry3 rum cask strength, Madeira cask strength, toasted barrel cask strength. This is our 4 core portfolio. Cigar series is a rotating every 24 months. We just finished the first series, so if somebody is a big fan of cigar series, come to Gold Eagle and grab a couple because it'll be done, it'll be gone. It won't be released anymore, and then we move on to the next chapter.
Will you switch the finishes on the cigar
Oh
series?
yeah, 100%.
Okay.
It's everything different. The label's getting changed. The completely new cask finish, new concept. We are not even going for this flavor profile. We completely go. It's about blending. Is like it's like cooking. How far can you push without screwing it up?
Yeah.
That's a big key right
You
there.
Yeah.
without screwing it up, and we are fully aware about it.
Yeah.
It's not that we are not aware about it. We fully are conscious about it, and that's why it's a delicate balance. We don't blend for us. We blend it for you guys. When we are always blending, we're always thinking about what do you think consumers want? What do you think they want? That's what we think. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I like semi limited, releases
Yes.
like that.
Yeah.
Like it's cool to mix it up every once in a while and do something different.
Yeah.
Like
It's available, but not widely available.
Yeah, you don't want to have to wait in a line overnight.
Yeah.
No,
Just
screw
so
that.
You're aware, you don't have to listen to him. No one likes what he picks anyways. It's been proven multiple times.
what? The cigar series is probably
No, the cigar series is really good.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
like the cigar series.
Thank you.
number 1 or number 2 favorite of the night.
Yeah.
The Madeira is
And,
still far and away my favorite, but the cigar is a really good. Really
Fantastic.
good rye as well.
I like the toasted a lot too.
Yeah, no, I like the toasted a lot.
Again, like toasted barrels with rye is not super common.
No.
Elijah Craig toasted rye is like the first mainstream
Standard benchmark.
release,
They've
like-
done a good job.
Yeah.
I got to give it to them. They've done a really
But
good
this
job.
is very like, I mean, you can see the color on this is
Yes.
like incredible.
Char one, medium plus toast, minimum 6 months, independent state company, and, from Lebanon, Missouri, some of the finest, cooperages in the world. The thing about us is, we don't hide any of our formulation or anything. You want to know about it, have at it. If you want to do it, go do it.
Yeah, that's like we talk a lot about transparency.
Yeah, we don't
on the
care
show.
about it.
And like the old school way is to hide everything
Yeah.
and make sure nobody knows shit about
Those
what you're
days are
doing.
gone.
But yeah, I mean, like I think for the consumer, if you can look at the bottle and see the mash bill, or the blend or whatever, it's cool. It's like something that I talk about with your buddies and say like, oh, what do you think the 10% of whatever does to this? Or
There's too much out there now to hide stuff like that. And
Yeah.
there's also the consumers are more into it than ever, and they want to dissect what they're tasting. They don't
100%.
just want to get drunk. So
Yeah.
And that goes
Right.
back to the same reason why the additive free tequilas and rums are selling higher now.
For sure.
But you guys are very transparent on just everything but what you're going to release in a couple months. Other than that, very transparent.
Although I did bring Amburana cask.
I was gonna say we better try that before we end this episode because we got to get our reactions.
Those are 2 different barrel samples,
Mm-hmm.
which I bought just for the fun of it. This is a sample label. This is not the original label. The original label is going to come in a couple of weeks. It's getting printed tomorrow, actually, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
So we've got a rye brand, we've got a rum brand.
Yeah.
Is there more coming to
No,
Phenomenal Spirits, or is this
for time being? We're going to stick to our lanes.
Mhm.
We focus on brown spirits, and we're going to just continue to innovate. Just continue to innovate, continue to meet as many people as possible, and enjoy the journey. And, we don't have a desire to get into tequila. Tequila has become a celebrity brand, and I'm far from celebrity. I'm just a regular dude, That's it. And I just wear my jacket for the podcast, or else you would see me in flip flops. So we have no desire to do anything else at this moment, at least. Okay, so this is a 10-year rum finished in an Amburana cask, and this particular cask finish is sitting at about 3 weeks now, and it's going to go for 1 more week, and then immediately we'll pull it out of the cask.
I just get like vanilla custard right off the nose.
Oh my!
It's a 60.3 ABV, I think. Yeah, 60.3 ABV.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah,
It's like vanilla custard.
It is literally on the palate. It's all vanilla custard.
And then you nailed it with that.
And the finish is insane.
Got to that point yet? You would not be able to tell this is rum just on a nose.
No.
Absolutely not.
I mean,
And just so you know, this is a new Amburana cask. This is not a used Amburana.
Oh wow!
I mean,
$1,000 a barrel. Huh?
Yeah.
banana, clove, custard. The Amburana is so well balanced. You can taste it, and it just is mellow throughout the entire.
It's still super creamy, but it hasn't there's that tipping point where it just gets super cinnamon and it's not quite there, but you still get the little bits of it. Yeah,
it's a perfect fine balance at this moment. What do you think, man?
Yeah, the nutmeg really stands out in the finish.
Yeah.
Which banana cream pie is what I'm
banana
trying
cream pie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe
nutmeg
this.
and rum,
banana cream,
excellent pairing.
custard.
Beautiful.
All the best rum punches have a little bit of nutmeg shaved on the top.
Yeah. Get yourself a good banana cream pie. Put a scoop of Culver's vanilla custard on the top.
Yeah.
This is a straight banana cream pie in a glass.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first of many cask finish series in Ry3 Izalco. We have never done a cask finish with rum.
Okay.
But we have a lot of experience doing cask finish, and we have a lot of experience doing blending. So we said it's time for us to kick off the innovation in the rum category. And if nobody is doing it, we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
So what?
What about a rye barrel finished rum?
Potentially, maybe not yet, because we got so many exotic barrels coming up in the pipeline. We don't want to do anything less than phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did.
So we did.
Second number on.
A different one?
Back into it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry for the technical difficulty.
All right, a little
with the
technical
video,
difficulty, but we're tasting this Amburana rum.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My thought on the first Amburana rum, I haven't taken it or tasted the second one yet. I don't drink the holiday drink, but with the holidays coming right up around the corner, that one might be good in eggnog.
Oh.
The banana cream pudding with some eggnog.
Or just
I wouldn't waste this.
I wouldn't. Yeah. I mean,
I'm just saying.
This is
nice,
just straight dessert
fireside,
pour, ready to go. Like you
Get
just
your
finished.
slippers ready
You
to-
just finished a big dinner, and you're having a little pie, and you want something a little light on the side. This is excellent.
Your big leather chair on your bearskin rug in front of the fire.
Yeah. I'm not
Ticker tape coming out with the stock prices.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where we cut off, but we were all talking about how it was just straight banana cream pie and just a phenomenal dessert pour. See what I did there?
Yeah. This is an expression which is going to be released end of this month. and it's yet to be released. I said, you know what? I'm going to be up here. There's going to be a lot of Spirits fans up here. Might as well share.
Hey, this one's even more, I think, balanced than the first one.
Jake's face says no.
No, I don't know. This one, I think the other one was pretty straightforward in a way that I really liked because you got all the flavors. But I think now that I'm kind of sitting here and sipping on this one, it's got a little more depth to it, and there's a little more variation.
Well, I think
on
this
the-
one,
on the
the
flavors
rum
that you get.
comes through a tad
As I say, I
more.
got more of the initial spirit on this one.
I mean, they're both like great. They're
Yeah.
super interesting.
Oh, wow.
And same base, obviously. Same
Same base.
two different casks,
It's different barrels, yeah.
and
Yeah.
both first use Amburano.
Very first use.
Mhm.
And it showcases the difference in barrel.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we intend to use this Amburana cask maybe like twice. And the third one maybe we may sell it to a brewery and ask them to do some ale
Yeah.
or some porter. Something
I'd
like
say a
that.
port would be a good,
Yeah.
or a porter, would be great.
I love
Yeah.
who does not like a barrel aged beer? Come on.
Barrel
Yeah,
aged
right.
vanilla porter.
Mhm.
Give me
Oh,
that
gosh.
all day.
Ooh, the Amburano. Ooh.
Yeah, this.
It'll be
Yeah.
sick. It'll be sick.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow, very unique. We're the first brand in the rum category to do Amburana, and we're going to be focusing on cask finish from here on. And it's our way of pushing the category on the upward trajectory.
I think this is like surprisingly missed by like the entire industry, because like if you're drinking rum, you want it sweet to begin with, and like this is like the perfect complement to
Yes,
that. Like,
yes. Today we are going to be drinking. I requested Jake saying, "Hey, listen, for the Ry3 Izalco 10-year, if you don't mind, I would love to do a slice of lime and one small ice cube and swirl it, and and have that's how I want you to consume it, because you folks are whiskey drinkers, and the cocktail's called as Island Zest. It's called Island Zest. So citrus juice cuts down the sugar, brings all the beautiful baking spices on the top.
Yep.
yeah.
And now we're going to be drinking that rum, 10-year rum, with a slice of lime today, this evening. You'll see the difference.
Yeah.
Very nice.
It's very refreshing.
Yeah, rum and lime is.
Oh gosh, it's a perfect combination.
All right, well, we gotta wrap up because
Yeah, we got a master class coming up here. So hopefully,
that class? We didn't have a master class.
we just had 8 expressions,
fancy
but
name,
yes,
master.
He uses the word master very loosely. I've done classes here, so I know he doesn't use that term very sincerely
I was
sometimes.
like, who's the master?
but no, thank you to Jake and Dan for both coming out to the store and recording this
Jake
episode.
lives 10
And
minutes from here.
he brought all his equipment. He set it all
Yeah,
up. It took him about 40
That's his
minutes to
job.
set it up.
again,
The
I do all
podcast
heavy
is not his
lifting.
job.
You do the heavy
We
lifting,
don't
you have
make
good
money
takes.
from this podcast. We do it for fun. But yeah, thank you guys for coming, and obviously thank you to Karthik for jumping on the podcast, getting here a little early. We're about to jump into a master class with the master himself behind the brand. So I don't know, Karthik, if you have any finishing words to leave everyone with.
I just want to say thank you all. Thank you for the bourbon community, the spirits community, the rum community, for embracing us, pushing us, and all the great feedbacks and constructive criticisms, which has made us better day by day, and we're doing our best.
Doing a good job.
Yeah, if you have any questions, DM us. That's the best way. Don't look for cell phone numbers and email. Just DM Ry3 Whiskey, in Instagram handle, or Ry3 Izalco Rum in Instagram handle, or Phenomenal Spirits _CEO. Just hit me up, and you will we will make sure that somebody's going to respond to you within 8 hours.
Cool. All right.
So it's been a while since we've had a coupon code on the
There needs
podcast.
to be a discount code.
Yeah, there
coming up.
absolutely will be. So we're going to do BM Ry, and obviously the Ry is spelled RY3. So BMRY3.
See, you're excited, but you're still not having the best name for a discount code yet.
We don't have to drop it on every episode, but we got to fill them in.
Yes.
BM Cock gets 15% off Fighting Cock bourbon. But I think this is a cool discount code. So BMRY3.
And if you spell it RYE, you're not getting the discount.
No, it won't work. Has to be BMRY3, but that'll get you 10% off any Ry3 or Ry3 Izalco product that we have in stock at Gold Eagle. Must be used online through our app or website, and it's not valid for items that are already on sale. But yeah, you can follow us on Instagram at Gold Eagle Wine, follow us on Facebook at Gold Eagle Spirits, go to goldeaglewine.com to check out the Ry3 and Ry Izalco selection and place your order using that BMRY3 discount code. Yeah. Throw it back to you, Bourbon Matters.
If you want to listen to us and you're somehow not listening to us but hearing me talk, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can watch us on Spotify and YouTube. The Bourbon Matters website, I think, is not up to date, so don't go there.
Dan, you had one job.
Find us on Instagram and Facebook at Bourbon Matters. Email us at Bourbon Matters Podcast if you want to shoot us a note or slide into our DMs.
Well, I just followed you guys, Bourbon Matters.
Nice.
There
Sweet.
you go. Mm-hmm. One more.
We'll have to tell his wife to follow you back.
Yeah. My wife runs the socials, so thanks, Jenna. So yeah, I think we're good.
Good episode. Great products.
Yeah. As the resident rye fanatic, I approve of all of the things that I tried tonight.
Thank you. Humbled. We're very much humbled. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Catch you on the next one.
Yeah, cheers.
Thank you all.